Hey, hi friends, welcome back to the B.ScIT M.ScIT question and answer series. Myself Guru, and today we are going to see the topic from B.ScIT question paper, that is what is an indexer, and explain how it is different from a property in terms of implementation. So today we are going to see an indexer in C#, and we will also see how it is different from a property, in terms of implementation and usage. So if you have any doubts or any queries regarding this session, kindly mail me on this email ID, that is gurumatrix2004@gmail.com. If you have more doubts on IT related, on programming related like ASP.NET, C#, WCF, WPF, to know more, you can visit our site, that is www.questpond.com. So let's start our session now with an indexer. Let's understand what is an indexer first, then only we can see that how it is different from a property in terms of implementation. So let's start our session. So let's first try to understand what is an indexer. Let me copy this and let me just open up my notepad. Indexer. What is an indexer basically? So indexer is nothing but it provides array like syntax. Okay, means the class which is having an indexer will be accessed in the same way as we access an array. So everybody knows how we access an array, that is string, new string, so this is how we access an array. So basically the arrays are accessed by using their index numbers, like this 1, 2, 0. The array starts with the 0 index, so we need to always start with the 0 index. So the way we access an array, the same way we need to access an indexer, so the class which is having an indexer, need to be accessed like an array by using an index only, by index numbers only. So means the object of a class will be accessed in the same way as we access an array. Means the object of a class which is having an indexer will be accessed like an array only by using index numbers. So this is the simple definition of an indexer. Means indexers provides array like syntax. This is a simple definition. It can be, means it has to be accessed in the same way as we access an array, basically like this. So this is how we access an indexers. Now let me show you a simple syntax of an indexers. Okay, the one more point I'm just missing out, the modifier of our indexers can be public, private, protected, can be anything, and we need to use this keyword. Whenever we declare an indexer, we need to use compulsory this keyword, the same instance, the same class instance, this, yes, the same class instance, this keyword we need to use. Let me show you the syntax of an indexer. Let's say I have a class employee, and inside this I am declaring an indexer. Syntax, I'm just showing you the syntax. Public, my return type is string, and this, as you know, this is always used as an instance of a class. Now this keyword is an instance of the class employee, and we need to declare a parameter also, and the parameter should be an integer type because we need to pass an indexer number, right? So for this, to pass an indexer number, we need to declare integer parameter only. So int parameter. Now this is the way of declaring an indexer. Starts with the modifier, any modifier you can use, return type, and this is the keyword of an instance of a class, and followed by the parameter. It should be in integer only because we need to pass a number here, which has to be act like an array, So to pass an indexer number, we need to declare here as a int parameter, and inside this you can have a set and get properties. I will also show you the real-time example. For just declaring the syntax, I'm just showing you in this way. So this is how, my friends, we need to declare an indexer in a class. Public string, this keyword followed by parameter. Return type can be changed. It can be integer, it can be double, it can be boolean. So depending upon your requirement, you can declare the return type. So this line is compulsory by this keyword, the same instance of a class, and followed by the parameter. It should be in integer format only, and then set and get. So depending upon your requirement, you can use set and get. Set and get are used to read and write the values. So this is all about the indexer. Now let me just show you an actual example of a real-time example of an indexer, by using my console application. So there you will get the real demonstration of a indexer. To do this example, let me just open up my Visual Studio 2010. Just opening up my Visual Studio 2010. Yes, here it is. I'm going to demonstrate this example in my console application, which is having a .NET Framework 4.0, and my language will be C#. Now to create a console application, we need to go to the file, say new, project, console application. .NET Framework is 4.0, as you can see. On my right hand side, the language type is Visual C#. So I will say OK. Now Visual Studio is going to create an environment for console application. So project has been created successfully with some default libraries, with a nice namespace and a class program. So let me just start coding. So I'm going to create a new class for this, that is class public class CLS employee. So first I am going to declare a private variable which is an array type, that is private. I will show you why I am doing this. I am going to use this variable in my set and get properties. So that's why I'm creating an array variable. The size of the employee, the size of this array will be declared in the constructor, so that whenever we create an object of this CLS employee, the size should be declared from an constructor only. So because whenever we use, whenever we declare an object, that time only it is good practice to declare the size also. So if we declare here 10, let's suppose, and the employees are 11 or 12, 15, then it will create an error. So it is best practice to declare the size when we declare an object. So that's the reason I'm just creating a constructor here, a public default constructor. Int employee size. See, this is not compulsory that you should go in this way only. If you know the specified numbers of the array size, then just declare whatever number you have, let's say 10, 15, 20 or maximum 100. You want to declare, you can declare this, but I just don't want to create unused arrays, so that's the reason I am going to declare only those arrays, the length of those arrays only which I am going to use it. Let's suppose I am going to use only 3 length size of array, then I am going to create only 3. So if I am going to use 10, then I am going to declare 10 in my constructor, whenever I declare an object. So this step can be skipped, if you know the specified length of an array size. So let me do this. Employee names is equal to new Now here I am going to declare an indexer. So let's create an indexer, public string int code employee name code equal to value So as you can see that we have successfully declared an indexer here with using this keyword, the same instance of the class, and with the parameter code. As you can see that I have used that parameter, the integer parameter, in my employee name variable, which is an array. See, okay, the employee names is an array variable, and I have used that array variable like this, and pass the parameter, that is input parameter of the indexer, into this and assign the value, and finally I have written the value. So this is how I'm reading and writing the values by using an array, array variable. Okay, so this is it. Now let me just build this just to see whether everything is perfect. Yes, the build is succeeded. Now let me just create an object now of this employee. Let me just show you the usage of this indexer, CLS employee obj equal to new CLS employee. Now here I am going to declare an employee size. Let's say I have 5 employees in my company, so I am going to declare only 5. Now by using this object, I have in the definition I have already said that indexers provides array like syntax, so we need to think in terms of arrays only. So how we declare an array, how we use an array, the same way we need to use an indexer also. So just see, it is asking the code. So the index array starts with the 0, so we need to start with the 0 only. 0. The size is 5, means 0 1 2 3 4. So from 0 to 4 the size becomes 5. So now we need to assign the name. Let's say Sham obj1. Let's say Taha obj2. Shiv obj3 equal to Ajay obj4 equal to so we are done, so we have set all the values to our index variables. Okay, now we need to access them one by one. So let's say if you want to access any specific index value, simply you can access them by using console.writeLine. You can display them, let's say employee name, I'm sorry, it is employee name. Okay, I want to access Anil, so I will say 4. Okay, now let me just display. As you can see that I have successfully displayed the employee name of Anil by using an index 4. Now let's say if I want to display all the values of an index of an indexer, then I will use for loop for int I equal to 0 and I is less than equal to 4 I plus plus, and here I will pass I. If I run this, see, I have successfully displayed all the values of an indexer. So my friends, this is how we need to use an indexer. As you can see here, we have declared a class and then we have declared array variable, because we need to use this array variable in our indexer to set and get the values. Okay, to read and write the values, so that we can pass this parameter code to this variable. So then by creating the object, then we have set all the values, and finally we displayed the values by using the console.writeLine. So this is all about the indexers. Now let's see how it is different from a property, in terms of implementation. So let me tell you that, now let me just create a simple class for a property. Let's say C class public class CLS employee, let's say 2, and here I'm going to declare a variable private string empl name. So now I'm going to declare a property here, public string employee name So here it is, as you can see that the difference between the indexer and the property is, the first difference is here in an indexer we need to use this keyword, the same instance of the class, that is this. Here we don't need to use this keyword. Here we can directly use any name, any customized name for a property, whatever name you want you can declare here in an property. So in an indexer we need to declare this keyword compulsory. In a property we can declare any name, a customized name. And as you can see, the second difference here, the compulsory we need an array value for set and get to read and write the values from an indexer. We need to use array variable compulsory. Here we can use a normal variable, normal string variable, and to set and get the values, to read and write the values from a property we can use a normal string variable. And the third difference is, as you can see, the parameter is there, the integer parameter is there, that is code. Here we don't need to use any kind of parameter. We can simply declare multiple properties for a multiple purpose. Let's say you have employee name, employee code, employee address, employee city, then you can have a multiple properties. Here we cannot declare a multiple indexer, we cannot declare multiple indexer. As you can see, if I try to declare multiple indexer, it will throw an error. So as you can see that we cannot declare multiple indexer, but yes, here we can declare a multiple properties with the different name. As you can see, I can declare employee name. I can say here employee name 2. I can run this successfully. Yes. So basically an indexers are accessed by using the index numbers, and properties are being accessed by the names. Okay, in a class we can have a multiple properties, but in a class we cannot have a multiple indexers. Indexers compulsory use array variables like this, and properties use normal variables like this. Okay, so you can declare employee 2 obj2 equal to new cls obj2 dot c employee name. So the properties is been accessed by using the naming convention, and it becomes very easy to choose which variable is having what kind of value, you know, which property is having what kind of value. It becomes very easy for us also, you know, because indexes we cannot remember the index numbers, you know. Like for example, if I say, if I want to access the name of Anil, you know, I cannot remember this 4 as the index number, you know, because it is very difficult. Let's suppose if there are 100 employees, how can I remember the index number of Anil or Ajay, you know, of any employee? So it becomes very difficult. But here, yes, it becomes very easy, you know. As Anil Sharma, yes, I can simply access by the same variable. If I run this program, just see the last one, the employee name 2 Anil Sharma. Okay, the first 5 is of an indexer display, and then the last one is the property. So this is the difference between an indexer and a property. Okay, so if you guys have any doubts or any queries regarding this session, kindly mail me on this email ID, that is gurumatrix2004@gmail.com. So thank you friends, thank you very much, have a nice day.